Tom's on it with the comments.
Getting there.
I appreciate you.
Yeah, I just don't want people thinking someone's watching that and.
Well, and that's I'm part of a couple different groups, Facebook groups, and it's the same problem no matter what, no matter how much you recommend or whatever. Yeah. I appreciate you putting it up there, and it's good to have it, but
yeah, no worries. I got it covered.
Official timekeeper, Melody Martinson. What time does thou showeth?
My computer says 6:30, right on the nose.
As does mine. Good evening, everybody. We will call the December 15th City Council meeting to order at 6:30 p.m. First item on the agenda tonight would be the approval of the minutes from the City Council meeting of December the 1st.
move to approve.
I have a motion from Councilman D to approve and a second from Councilman Merja. Any additions, corrections, or comments? Those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, they will stand as approved. Request to be out of state. And I'm just going to ask Councilman Howard because I don't think anybody else is going anywhere.
When's the next meeting?
I snuck out last weekend and left Saturday morning, came home Saturday night.
Cool. Our next meeting, Councilman Major, would be 5 January.
I'm going to be out of state. Probably the like over New Year's.
Okay. Missing a meeting?
Yeah. No, I'll be back by the 5th.
Okay. Cool. That being said, you guys, I don't see if something pops up. This is one of those months again where we have a plethora of Tuesdays. So technically, if we were going to go every other one, we'd go on the 29th. I don't believe we're going to have to. But just throwing that out there if something were to pop up. So that being said, we can move on to our new business tonight, and that would be our order of our claims. There are some larger claims, as you will see this time through, because we're second half contracts for Justice Court, Sheriff's contract, and for City Attorney criminal side.
Those are next month. Those are just the ones you just signed, Chris. Those aren't on the list.
Those are not on the list according to my conscience.
Yeah, move we
Sorry.
approve.
So much for getting ahead of the game, Jody. I have a motion from Councilman D to pay the, and a second from Councilman Merja to pay just the claims that are listed.
Yeah.
Sorry about getting ahead of you guys. Any questions on the claims that are out there, gentlemen? Mel? Hearing none. Those in favor of paying the bills?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? We will pay the bills. Our next item will be reports tonight, and we'll start with the law enforcement report. And I got to give kudos to 318, to Mr. Seahose, for he's always on the spot, asking when the next meeting is so he can have his stuff and all. As you can see, they had 0 citations within the city limits during the month of November and 2 arrests, one for driving under the influence and one they served a warrant on, in addition to the 58 calls within the city limits, from traffic stuff to traffic accidents, officers' requests, and other calls. So, and again, that doesn't include the surrounding areas that would be just outside of our city limits. Contrary to what people might think, I'm very happy with what the sheriff's office is doing and providing for us, you guys. So, any questions on that from the sheriff's office that I can forward back? Next one on our list would be the city judge, and we actually have more in here for the city judge than we probably should have in here for the city judge. The first page would be for Choteau Court, and this is for the month of October. He has a new gal working with him up there, and they're slowly getting the system up to where she's handling it better. There were 4 criminal cases that were brought in and 6 cases altogether that were filed. 1 DUI, 1 misdemeanor, 1 other miscellaneous, a domestic abuse, a misdemeanor. So the city seemed to keep him a little bit busier than it has in the past. And I'm sure with hunting season, that was also busy on the justice court side of things as well. So any questions for the city judge that I can relay back to him? Oh, we'll go to the city attorney civil side, and that's the Hattersley Maureen breakdown that's in front of you. And remember, guys, he's on a $12,000 annual fee. So when it shows the bill of $1,680, we're not paying $1,680. We're paying $1,000 a month. Pretty self-explanatory in there, what's going on, what he's been up to. I did speak with him today, and I'll come back to that in my mayor's comments about what's going on that way. Questions for the civil side? The criminal side is in COVID. She's in quarantine, and so she's not going to have a report for us at this time. I will make sure that Jen missed last month because she's just getting back from vacation. I'll make sure that we get a 3-month report from her right after the first of the year. Get us caught up to speed, okay? Public works side from Mike. You can see our influent flow for 2020 is lower than it has been the previous 3 years. We're happy with the way things are going. We didn't see any increase with the cold weather. The creek didn't seem to freeze up, cause us any problems at this time. The next graph that he has there is our SARS-CoV genome in the wastewater. We pulled another sample on Monday and sent it back out because of the dramatic drop to see if there was something that had been handled improperly or missed during the transportation or what, because it dropped it like it was hot, as you can see. Our wastewater plant treatment is very well. Again, we are extremely pleased with what's going on at the wastewater treatment plant. And I thank Levi for that out there in his part of the world. So thank you for that, Levi. And then our water system, you can see 6 million, roughly 6.5 million gallons pumped, 2.9 million gallons sold, with about 2.85 unaccounted for about a 56% loss. So we're still chasing whammies out there. We know we've got leaks somewhere, or something is going on where we're not getting, accurate readings. Something we've talked about in-house, and it could very well be meter issues. And at some point in time, we may look at different meters to see if that would pick up a difference on it. So any questions for Mike?
Well, so the question on that one, looking at our influent, and I realize that we lose some because not all water goes down the sewer, but is there a pretty direct correlation between how much we pump and what our influent is?
At this time, you'd see, it looks like the gallons per day, according to Mike's graph, show somewhere in the neighborhood of over 500,000 gallons, between 4 and right around 500,000. And this shows we're pumping 6.5. So no, we can't get that math to work out, Councilman.
And with that 500,000 gallons a day coming into the sewer plant, that's also taking into account the groundwater that's infiltrating into the collection system as well.
And the other thing is, Councilman, we've got 282 homes in Choteau that are on wells. So that influent level would show those coming through the sewer system as well. So yeah,
Well, and I'm not saying that what's coming in on a daily basis to the sewer treatment plant should match. Not, I mean that's obvious. We've obviously got influent, and I knew, you know, in those homes that aren't on. I was just wondering if the graphs had ever been put side by side to see if there was some any correlation there.
I will ask the graph master in the morning because Mike loves doing those things.
Yeah, it just occurred to me tonight when we were looking at them and talking about it. So,
Any other questions for Mike? How about
Did I-
finance officer? Oh, go ahead,
Sorry.
Steve.
I just want to, I think it's been put out there pretty well, but I just wanted to kind of reiterate it for the public. Leaf pickup is done for the year, correct?
That is correct. The leaf crew has gone into hibernation.
Okay.
And they'll return into butterflies sometime in the park before they spin cocoons of leaves again next fall.
Thanks.
Jody.
Yeah.
You can see our finance report in there from Jody. We received a large check, if I'm not mistaken, Jody, for taxes.
We
Just
did. I know there was a lot of concern. I don't know what the second check is going to look like, but our first check that we received from good news from the county, that I know there was some concern that, you know, how people would pay. And it was, I thought, as from looking from last year to this year, they're very comparable. So that's really good news considering the climate that we're in right now.
Yeah,
You're
that's a
referring
pleasant
to
surprise.
folks who may not have been able to pay their property taxes. Is that okay?
Right.
Thank you.
Yeah. And you don't see a lot of that because you don't see that on the reports that you have in your file, because those will actually came in December. So that when you're looking at your revenue report, you know, it shows we've only received, like in the general fund, only 22%. Well, that's because we haven't received our taxes yet. As of November, we actually receive our large checks in December and January. So, and when you look at the expenditures, you know, we've paid out, which Chris was trying to pay early again, the second half of, you know, our sheriff's department, our, you know, all the contracts that we pay, we've already paid those. So it looks like we've spent half, you know, almost half of our general fund budget. Well, we have, but those are our biggest expenditures as well. So, you know, it's looks are deceiving when you look at those percentages there, because, you know, the sheriff's contract is a large portion of that general fund. So, and as far as the emergency disaster, that will take care of itself, because we, you know, we couldn't collect that last year. So what that fund is actually is from the snowstorm last year, that we couldn't actually, we have to put 2 mills on the taxes. We couldn't do that last year. Unfortunately, it happened at the end of September. Well, we'd already passed the levies for that year. And so the county couldn't put it on there. So we actually had to wait a full year before we could put that emergency disaster levy on there. So that's what that is. We didn't have a new one. That's just from the last year's snowstorm. Oh,
Thank you for explaining that, Jody. Save me having to do it.
I was trying to save you.
I know how much you like being on these.
No, yeah, not really. But you know.
Any other questions for Jody?
Yep. Quick question
Go,
on the
Steve.
T-bid 7199. Committed year to date is just is that second quarter, like their second quarterly payment, or maybe third quarterly payment?
That when are you looking at the expenditures or the revenues?
I think it's the revenues.
So
Nope,
the
you're right. It's the expenditures.
the
You're right.
revenues would be, we've done one quarter.
Okay, and you were right. I was looking at the expenditure sheet, not the
Oh,
revenue
the
sheet.
expenditures would be the, the expenditures is your 8,533. Yeah.
Okay.
And then the revenues they've brought in so far is 3,350.
Perfect.
Okay.
But that is just that one. We'll get this, the second quarter it'll be it'll be next month.
Right.
Second quarter's the end of December.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Nope. I'm going to jump down and do building and zoning permits. The 3 that are on the block are Chris Garriman for a concrete pad. I'm just going to call it JP because I'm not going to, my last name's bad enough. I'm not going after that one.
Chicken.
Exactly. I'll show you feathers later. For New Home Garage over on the southwest side of town. And then Brian Carlson, also on the southwest side of town for taking down a house. I got to say, it's kind of slowed down in that part of the world for zoning and permit stuff, but we are getting our brain wrapped around it, and our paperwork and our permitting process now seems to be going a little bit easier and a little bit better for folks. Back to the council. Councilman Howard, will you do us our fire department report as well?
Well, if I had one, I would. I got in late tonight, so I
No
don't think
worries.
we had any city calls this past month. I think they were all county.
Yeah, I think you're correct.
We got to use our new loaner truck the other day, so.
Then it worked okay?
Well, it responded to a call. We actually didn't need it when we got there, but we've got it up and running. Things are going good with it, so.
How are our friends to the south? Are they back to full strength?
Yeah, they're back to full strength. Their tender will still be down for another month and a half, so we're still on
For water?
a double page for water support.
Okay.
I haven't done anything more with the ADA stuff, so that's all I have.
That was my question. I want to try and get ADA wrapped up in January if we can.
Okay.
So throw that on the back of your burners or out there that if we have to sit down one night together, Steve, we can do that socially distance and walk through what we can together and get it done.
Yeah, it shouldn't take too long. I have been on it. I think the library, we might have a little, put it towards the top of the list. The alley has kind of, I think might be something we need to address.
Coming into the
sooner than
Gleason
later.
room. Yeah, okay.
Oh.
Councilman Merja, you're up there on my screen next.
I don't have anything. It's been kind of quiet the last 2 weeks.
Thank you for partaking in the drive-by nativity.
It was a lot of fun.
It looked very warm. Councilman Major as well. Thank you and your family for being part of the live nativity.
You bet. It was an honor. We enjoyed being there.
Anything over in our neighborhood?
Nothing I can think. Just trying to compete with the neighbors with my Christmas lights. So I got that going for me.
Yeah, you're not doing well there.
Okay,
Jeff-
Clark.
I can't even compete with the guys across the street from me.
No, other than that, I don't think I have any report.
Okay. Councilman D.
Got a couple of things. I first wanted to just acknowledge Benefits Teton Medical Center and kind of the way the community wrapped around them and gave them a great big socially distanced hug this year. There was a call put out to help their long-term residents with a 12 days of Christmas program. And it went out to me and a few others in the community. And I know like Lutheran Church, Chamber, Scouts, Cub Scouts, the mayor and I, a few others, they met their goal of getting gifts for their 20 residents every single day. And I think they had some to spare. And it was really like just nice. Every group that I talked to about it, any groups that I was involved in were immediately like, heck yeah, let's do something. Let's support them. Let's, it's been a tough year. Let's do something for them. So I just wanted to acknowledge that the community was pretty great about that. On a more serious note, just want to remind the public that dogs do need to be leashed and contained. They can't just be free roaming in town. Whether you're walking them or letting them out to the bathroom, whatever it may be, please leash your dogs, put them behind a fence. That is city code, city ordinance. And then finally, on a much lighter note, if you're still looking for a last minute Christmas great gift, the Montana Dinosaur Center, formerly known as the 2 Medicine Dinosaur Center, has an online Christmas store, tmdinosaurcenter.org/Christmas-store. We have all sorts of dino Christmas ornaments and gifts, and Stacia's special cookie mix that she made herself, and it's delicious. And I would highly recommend that you buy some, and it'll be delivered right here in town if you're in town. Thank you.
Now you got to give all the disclaimers at the end of the commercial.
Yes. Exactly.
Yeah, right.
From the mayor's desk, I'm going to be a little bit lengthy with you guys tonight. We got a letter from the Department of Agriculture, USDA Rural Development. We have a new engineer who's on our projects now, a gentleman named Ryan Urbanik. He's been working for USDA Wyoming Rural for the last 6 years. Montana native, grew up in Eastern Montana, and he's a graduate of Montana Tech. He's responsible for the USDA engineering review and concurrences on our project. So this came from Steve Trundle, who's overseeing some of our paperwork on that. Sent a letter of congratulations to Miss Ellie Lee as being elected to as president of the Montana Family, Career, and Community Leaders of America chapter for state. Well done, Miss Lee. Copy of the proclamation from Governor Bullock for the flags to fly at half-staff on Pearl Harbor Day as well. Also, if you guys want to stop by, the copy of the complaint that was sent to the state Supreme Court and kicked back to mediator, we have our copy, and we have Ed's response to the mediator. I spoke with our civil attorney today, and he's in the process of putting back our reply to the mediator for this. And we have to have it has to be in by the 23rd. So we will have that taken care of maybe Friday, but definitely no later than Tuesday to answer that. It's about 70 pages, the stuff that I have on my desk. If you want to come by and grab it, take a copy and read it, please feel free to do so. As I mentioned, this is our last meeting of 2020, and it was about a year ago that Councilman Howard, and I got sworn in. And believe it or not, knowing what's happened in the last year, I still do it all over again. This community continues to shine in ways that never cease to amaze me. And the heart and the soul of what makes us run are the city office staff and Mike and his crew. Mike and his crew will answer the call, answer the bell, no matter what the situation is. And it's difficult for me to see what's taking place at a national level when Mike's answer to everything is, what can we do to make it work? There's never, no is not an option unless it's the last option. Those guys just never cease to amaze me in everything that they do, from the sewer treatment plant to the water coming in to the guys on the garbage truck who I still don't think work for me. I just, you never see them. What can I say? I think they work for the mafia, a little bit of the Sopranos running through Choteau. Never have issues with them. The park guys and everybody. So know that where we're at, we're very, very good right now. On our water delivery project, Jody and I talked about that this morning, and we believe that project has options to be funded still, although we didn't rate very well with in some of the project lines. The TCEP projects, we were 21 out of 40, and there's enough funds for 20. We believe that our funding sources out there will come back to us and provide us with some viable options to get our water projects done. On the sewer side, Um, that one's not going to happen. We're going to have to push our sewer project off for at least a year. The brick grant proposal that we were talking about is an option, but not for this year because we couldn't get our ducks in a row. We were late to the table. There were some issues with the county not having our hazard mitigation plan filed and approved yet. And in talking to our engineer yesterday and our grant writer, it's been decided that we're better off putting off that project for a year. Take the year to collect the data we need. And Councilman Howard, I'll reach out to you, and we have most of those people. We need information from folks, what it's cost them with the water coming into their basements. I don't need names. I have to have addresses, unfortunately, and dollars, because those dollars will directly relate back when it comes to that brick grant. And that's a 75% grant on $1.3 million. So as much as it pains me, we're going to say, whoa, in a mud hole, stop and start collecting the data. And if we have to individually reach out to these people and beg and plead for them to give us that information, we're going to have to do that. And I may lean on the council to help us out with that, but we got to get those guys' information. Councilman Murja.
So do you want to know what it cost them out of pocket, or do you want to know what it cost the insurance company and the homeowner?
I want it all. The more dollars and the more descriptive we can be with what happened at each individual home, the better off we're going to be when it comes to the grant process. The blessing, if you want to call it that, for this brick grant is that when it goes to Congress, one of the ranking members on that committee is Senator Tester. So there is some hometown flavor to it. So Jody and I fretted long and hard over this one and trying to get it done, and we just can't get it done. So knowing that, we'll push that one to the side, pull for the water, and we know that we're going to be able to do our water project on the northwest side of town. We had a town hall meeting last Friday with MMIA and the league as we prepare for the legislative session. There's as many rumors flying around about the legislative session and how it's going to go as there is anything. Will it be live? Will they be in person? Will it be virtual? Will it be a hybrid? It's going to be an interesting session. So the Republicans have increased the majorities in the House and the Senate, and you have a Republican governor now. So as we start looking at budgets from this governor, we will see how things play out. Our entitlement dollars have always been low-hanging fruit. So we'll be working with our association friends to make sure that our ducks are in a row and our dollars are protected. The three people from the city who are on that email chain will be myself, Jody, and Councilman D for legislative updates from MMIA. That we may have another one right before the session starts once they know what's going to happen. In talking to Representative Fitzgerald, he believes that they're going to go in person and he'll be down there in person. So I haven't had time to talk to Senator Gillespie yet in person. I've had a couple email conversations with him, but nothing yet. Last but not least from me, as many of you know, they found a lump, right there's one of them, in my neck. And it's been there a while, and I was neglecting not doing anything about it because hunting season was a priority. And had a CT scan last week. Didn't like what they saw. Saw a specialist on Friday. Had them biopsied on Friday. Supposed to go back this Friday for my pathology reports. They came in late this afternoon, and they've called me, and I'm to be in the doctor's office tomorrow morning at 9:30 to get an update, see where we're at. So I will let you guys all know what's going on and if Jody's really cancer causing or not. Other than that, City Hall is going along good. We actually had the doors unlocked this week for a few days. Most people are still preferring to come to a window or drop it in the box, but we do have some that have been coming in for some necessary paperwork. We've done some dog licenses through the drop box as well, so it's been kind of interesting. So next week is Christmas week. Garbage pickup will be normal days for Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Friday pickup will be on Thursday, the 24th. Once the garbage guys are done on the 24th, I'm going to send staff, City Hall will close at noon, and Public Works will be done as soon as garbage guys are done, so they can get off a little bit early. I don't know what we'll do for the week of New Year's Eve yet. I'll ask tomorrow morning. We'll talk to the garbage guys and see what they want to do. I'm more worried about having everybody's garbage cleaned out as best as we can before the paper storm of Christmas Day, much more so than New Year's Eve. So that being said, I have nothing more from the mayor's desk. So if there's anybody from the public who's got anything they want to discuss under the public comment period, we would gladly take that at this time for up to 5 minutes. I'm hearing crickets. Hearing none. We will adjourn our meeting. Have a merry, merry, merry Christmas to all of you. To the city of Choteau, thank you for a great year. And we'll see you guys January 5th.
Merry Christmas.
Happy New Year.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas, you guys.
Merry Christmas.
See ya. Thank you.